Well, I tried to do the twist, but I got tangled up. It takes two to tangle with a paper cup. There's a brand new dance that's sweeping the kitchen. I can do the locomotion, but where's the beef? The bony bologna just gets stuck in my teeth. Perhaps a mashed potatoes great, but why need we discriminate to the food,
Hey, and welcome to Junk Food News for the month of July 2016. Junk Food News is where we look back at all the news in the junk food world that happened during the month of July. So let's get started. An interesting thing to know about July is July 1st is Canada Day. BuzzFeed posted an interesting thing where they ranked Canadian snacks based on whether they're great or whether they're horrible. And there was just a huge amount of sort of kickback on this particular article. So much so that BuzzFeed ended up posting a second article talking about how many problems this particular article gave them and maybe how wrong they were. Another thing we heard early in July was that Android was going to be releasing a new version of its iOS, and as usual, they're giving it an awesome name. Apparently the next Android version is called Nougat. I was reading on Lifehacker this month. They reposted what was this awesome little graphic about how to toast a perfect marshmallow. It looks like it was from a Boy Scout guide or something like that, and you want to know something? If anybody can toast the perfect marshmallow, it's a Boy Scout. Well, and my wife, because she toasts amazing marshmallows. Also in July, there was an interesting article in Mental Floss about a guy who decided to eat rations from the Civil War. That was in 1863. Now, he didn't eat a recreation of a ration from the Civil War. He actually ate a ration pack from the Civil War. That's probably the most stale thing anybody's ever consumed. It was announced in July that apparently there's a restaurant in San Francisco that's going to be run almost completely by robots. So that means robots will be serving you, making the food and everything like that. It sort of became a big article in July, and then there also was a little bit of a look back because the idea of robotic hamburger places isn't that new. They were even coming up with things in the 70s and 80s about robotic hamburger places, but I imagine this one's going to be themed to that as well instead of sort of hiding it in the back. In Japanese news, there's an interesting article on the BBC about a package of grapes that was sold on auction for $11,000. There's 30 grapes, and I mean, I've seen some pretty expensive stuff, but $11,000 grapes, I mean, you'd have to eat them in the next week too to keep them fresh. So that's crazy, but that's also Japan. In the I don't really care, but I'll talk about it anyway news, apparently the prices at Starbucks are going to go up. They announced that in July, so I don't really drink coffee, so that doesn't really affect me. And frankly, I'm not even a huge fan of Starbucks. I enjoy their hot chocolates a little bit, but I would never really go out of my way for them. So for all you Starbucks drinkers, I'm sure that's pretty sad, but for the rest of us, meh. McDonald's announced this month that they're going to be introducing sriracha. I never know how to pronounce that right. Is it sriracha sauce on some burgers coming up soon? So for those that have a bit of a spicy fix and enjoy a Big Mac now and then, this might be an interesting thing. It was announced in July as well that apparently there's going to be a special Harry Potter breakfast thing available where you can have breakfast on the set of Harry Potter, so in Hogwarts Castle. I love the books. I thought they were great. It might be kind of an interesting experience, but I don't know if it's something I'd go completely out of my way. But I believe it's happening in London, so if you happen to be in London and you happen to want a good English breakfast, I think Hogwarts Castle is the perfect place to have it. Big news is, apparently there's going to be an ice cream museum opening up in New York. I love ice cream and I love going to New York, so this is like the perfect thing to go together. What I want to know is what kind of free samples are they going to give? This month, the new Ghostbusters movie opened up, and there's all kinds of cool theming and all kinds of grand opening celebrations. I mean, say what you want about the movie. I've actually heard it's getting pretty good reviews, but one of the coolest things I saw was in the UK. There was a train station where they had a giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man bursting out of the floor. That sounds absolutely awesome, and I love when movies just go big, particularly when there's a snack-related thing to it. Have you ever heard of this dog called Popeye? Apparently he's a rescue dog, and he's become sort of an Instagram celebrity. One of the interesting things about him is he's an Instagram celebrity. He's an Instagram food celebrity. So there's all kinds of pictures of him with all kinds of crazy foods and everything like that. And he's kind of got a cute little face and everything. It's something I never thought I'd ever see, is the idea of a dog becoming a food celebrity, because most of the time you don't really want dogs hanging around your food. Have you tried a cronut? Do you like ice cream cones? Well, apparently you can get them together because somebody has developed the cronut ice cream cone. So basically it's a deep fried croissant ice cream cone. That's like it's like somebody's trying to get every single treat together in one. Now all you have to do is fill the bottom of it with cheesecake and icing, and you basically got the ultimate snack. This month, in an issue of Superman, a strange thing sort of happened. It was sort of an advertising glitch. Superman and Batman were fighting Doomsday, which is similar to what happened in the Batman v Superman movie. And then suddenly in this advertisement, Batman and Superman are fighting Doomsday, but they managed to stop Doomsday with a Snickers bar. The problem is this particular ad happened in exactly the right spot in a fight scene between Doomsday, Batman, and Superman. And so it left a whole bunch of readers really confused as to what was going on. Was this a new trick? Was Superman's new weapon a Snickers bar? Back on Ghostbusters again. There was an interesting article in Serious Eats where they talk about a biblical Twinkie. Now, I'm not sure if you remember in the original movie, Egon talks about a giant Twinkie and sort of uses it as a reference. Well, Serious Eats decided to put it to the test and give you an idea of really how big a giant catastrophic Twinkie might be. Well, our favorite donut shop friends, Krispy Kreme, well, maybe second. I would say Tim Hortons is number one, Krispy Kreme is number two. But either way, Krispy Kreme has announced that they're coming out with a Krispy Kreme flavored donut soda. So for all of you that have been too tired to chew your donuts and you want to just be able to drink them out of a straw, this is your best opportunity. Gizmodo had an interesting article recently about wasabi, that little green blob of stuff you often get on the side of sushi. Now, apparently most people assume that that's wasabi, but actually most of the time that's not real wasabi. It's actually a mixture of other ingredients to make up something that sort of tastes like wasabi. True wasabi in North America is extremely rare. You can get it sometimes in Asia in certain places, and in particular in Japan. You may have never actually tried wasabi in your entire life. If you're interested in reading more about any of these things that we're talking about on this particular podcast, you can go to @CandyCritic on Twitter, and you'll find links to all of these articles that we're talking about, as well as some more things, and you can keep up whenever we post a new article. Have you ever had the problem of trying to figure out what ice cream is? Now, most people assume that anything that's cold in a bowl with a spoon is ice cream. But there's sorbet, sherbet, ices, there's all different kinds of things that are very, very similar to ice cream, but aren't quite exactly right. Now, Mental Floss had an interesting article where they went through the different kinds of sort of ice creamy treats and gave you the differences of what is officially like a gelato or an ice cream. It's pretty interesting, and it'll make you seem smarter next time you go to Baskin Robbins. Counta.com has a really interesting thing that they posted. They posted a real-time coffee sales infographic. So basically, it calculates how much coffee has been sold that day in different varieties in real time, so you can actually watch it change as it goes. It's kind of fascinating to watch, and it's kind of interesting to see how much coffee the world goes through. Now, we posted 2 articles from Lifehacker this month. One was about things you shouldn't feed your dog, and the other one was things you shouldn't feed your cat. In both cases, chocolate was featured heavily. So please, people, stop giving your pets your treats. They're your treats for a reason. You should be eating them. Your cat does not need to eat a Hershey bar. Taco Bell is sort of well known for coming up with so many different treats and new versions of tacos and everything like that. Mental Floss had a great list of 13 discontinued menu items from Taco Bell, and there are some really crazy things on there and well worth reading. Have you ever wondered what American cheese is? As a Canadian, it baffles me because we don't have American cheese in Canada. We have cheddar cheese, and then we have other forms of cheese. But there's something called American cheese, and I've had it before. A lot of restaurants will advertise real American cheese, but I don't even really know what it is. Well, I didn't until I read this great article from Serious Eats. One of the big things that came out this month was the release of Pokemon Go, the big interactive game where you can walk around the city and collect Pokemon. The other thing that's started to increase is Pokemon stuff has started to come out, in particular Pokemon treats. Now, I haven't seen any official Pokemon treats, like none of the candy companies seem to be producing anything yet, although I have a feeling maybe next month we might see some stuff. But there's been a lot of sort of home bakers and stuff that have picked up on this. One of them is cake pops for Pokemon Go have come about. And there was also one person who made a giant churro that looked like Pikachu, and it was kind of a cool thing. I'm not sure if this is junk food, but at least it's disturbing food. Apparently some scientists did some research and discovered that cockroach milk might be the next superfood. And this isn't just a clever name for some other kind of milk. This is actually a white liquid that cockroaches secrete to, I guess, feed their young or something like that. And apparently there's a high nutritional value in it. So maybe when the apocalypse hits and all that survives is us, a few of us and some cockroaches, we won't die because we'll have plenty of milk. In Singapore this month, for the first time ever, a Michelin star, which is one of the highest sort of rankings that you can get in restaurants, was actually given to not a restaurant, but a food stall. And this is the first time that a Michelin star has ever been given out to anybody except a restaurant. So it's in Singapore, and you can go to our Twitter feed and see more about this article. And if you happen to be visiting Singapore, or if you happen to live in Singapore, this might be the best food stall in the world. Because science has to create everything. Apparently scientists are working on non-melting ice cream. Yes, for all of you that are sick of your ice cream melting over your cone, how would you like your ice cream not to melt at all? I'm not really sure how this works or why this works. I mean, is it still cold? If it's not cold, then what's the point of eating the ice cream? And is it still going to melt in your mouth the same way that it melts? I mean, if not, those are like the two parts of ice cream that are the best. I mean, the flavor is okay, but I think the cold and the fact that it melts so well in your mouth is very important. Because Belgium apparently has a sewer problem and a humongous love for beer, they've decided to put it together, and some Belgian scientists have created a beer that comes from sewage. So, have you ever had a beer and you thought, man, this tastes like pee? Well, it might actually be pee. Thanks for listening to another episode of Junk Food News, this one for July 2016. As I said before, you can pick up all of these news articles on our Twitter feed, @CandyCritic, or you can go to www.candycritic.org and look for social media, and generally these appear on our Tumblr feed as well as our Facebook page as well. As always, you can listen to this podcast and our other podcast, which is Junk Food on the Road featuring Allison. You can listen to it on SoundCloud, and you can also listen to it, all the old episodes, on our YouTube channel. You can also go to www.candycritic.org/junkfood, JUNKFUD, and there you'll find the links to all of this stuff, as well as you'll find links to our YouTube show, Chris, Why Would You Eat That? Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Well, I tried to do the twist, but I got tangled up. It takes two to tango with a paper cup. There's a brand new dance that's sweeping the kitchen. I can do the locomotion, but where's the beef? The bony macaroni just gets stuck in my teeth. Perhaps a mashed potato's great, but why need we discriminate? Do the food, 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 do the food. Somebody scream! All the ladies in the house say, I wish I had never been born.
I wish I had never been born.
All the fellas in the house say, somebody please stop this never-ending river of pain. Somebody please stop this never-ending river of pain. Get jiggy with it if you will. Supersize the sausage if you want. Do you want fries with that? Thanks, drive through. Do your part to legalize. Do the food.